They had to have a play here. Of course, the man lately, right?
Looking, throwing.
Get it?
First down.
Yeah, Timmy.
Touchdown.
What a play.
Hat-trick.
Look at the stretch, the will, the grit.
Throws by Jared Goff.
Great length. What a good look here.
He had some off-schedule throws last week that were off.
The Buffalo Bills came into Detroit Sunday afternoon and completely dominated the depleted Lions defense. Josh Allen looked everything MVP, and the Lions were humbled on Sunday, left wondering if their Super Bowl dreams are just too far away. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for returning for another video. The Lions stand at 12-2. They're still fully in control of the NFC and the NFC North. Let's talk about the report card from this Week 15 loss to the Buffalo Bills, and I'll provide a little injury update and talk about where the Lions will go from here. Let's go. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills offense had their way with the Lions and their defense in Week 15. Josh Allen, I think, solidified his MVP for 2024 in this performance against the Lions. And the injuries are stacking up to the point on the Lions defense where it's comical. Add to it this week defensive tackle Aleem McNeil and cornerback Carlton Davis, who are out for the season. And they got one more gut punch Monday of the week following the Buffalo Bills loss, adding David Montgomery to that season-ending injury list with an MCL. He'll go out for surgery. So it's hard to see where the Lions move this thing forward towards a Super Bowl. Aaron Glenn and the defense are really going to have to make some changes, add some pieces, shift some things around to be able to field a defense that's able to compete with the premium teams, especially as they get towards the playoffs. Can the Lions remain in the number one seed and get that extra week off to hopefully get some of the guys on current IR back? Let's go through the Week 15 report card, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. And then at the end, we'll talk about how the Lions can move this thing forward. Let's start the Week 15 report card with my offensive grade. I gave them a B. I thought Jared Goff shined through in this matchup. Of course, it's going to be overshadowed by Josh Allen and his performance and the offensive performance by the Bills, but I thought Jared Goff was really, really good. He made throws to keep the Lions in striking distance in this game, and without Jared Goff, this really would have gotten out of hand. Offensive line, up and down, no run game at all. 48 yards total on the ground, even with both running backs, even when they were healthy. Just couldn't get anything going, especially on first down. You know, the wide receivers I thought were good, but of course, you know, you had the tough drop by Amon-Ra St. Brown, the fumble as well. He also made big plays on the other side with a 66-yard score. J-Mo with a touchdown, so some good things there as well. Jahmyr Gibbs, I thought, flashed at times. You know, so the offense wasn't bad. They were able to keep pace with Buffalo, even, you know, with everything said and done. So, again, offensively, I gave them the grade of B. And it's defensively where things are really tough on the Lions. I gave the grade of F. It's hard to find good in the Lions' defensive performance. I think you had their high tackler 15, Brian Branch, Jack Campbell with a lot of tackles as well. But outside of that, they were really bad. The defensive line, no pressure. Josh Allen was able to do anything he wanted. Buffalo was able to run for over 100 yards on the ground. First time a rusher had over 100 yards on the ground against the Lions this year, I believe. The linebacker depth is just not there, and Buffalo picked on them all day long. Guys like Ezekiel Turner really struggled in coverage against like Ty Johnson and others just because they can't keep up athletically. And it's really getting to that point now for the Lions where this is an issue, and it's hard to see them getting wins on the basis of any sort of defense moving forward. So it's hard to imagine what they're going to do to make this thing work with all these stacking injuries. Because of that, because of this performance against the Bills, they got the grade of F from me. Special teams gets a grade of C-. I think the biggest glaring thing is the missed field goal, and that really hurt. Obviously, it came off of the drop by Amon-Ra St. Brown, so maybe some other things would have happened if we get a first down there and the Lions end up scoring a touchdown, but Jake Bates with the miss. You also had the two failed onside kicks. Now, that's not because of Jake Bates. I thought he put two great kicks on those onside attempts, so it's certainly not his fault, but they weren't able to recover either one of those, and they almost gave up a touchdown on the other one. Their coverage units I didn't think were very good either, so again, overall, just a grade of C- for their special teams unit. And the coaching grade for this Week 15 loss to the Bills, I gave them a grade of D. I just didn't see enough adjustment when things started to go south, both defensively and offensively. Now, defensively, there's just not much you might be able to do with your talent level to stacking injuries. You're asking guys that wouldn't normally be playing to do things that they just can't do in coverage, trying to get pressures, the defensive line, linebacking crew, all of that just isn't working. I also thought there wasn't enough adjustment offensively. These first downs, they weren't able to run the football. So, play action, it seemed like the Buffalo Bills were ready for it. It's like they knew what was coming. So, again, when all said and done, I just didn't think the coaching was good enough. Then you look at the onside attempt early on in the fourth quarter. I understand why. I think people need to understand why. Just defensively, you couldn't get stopped. So the only way you really can flip the field is either to get a turnover or create one, and they decided to do that with the onside kick. Is it the right move at that time? I think that's questionable. There was a lot of time left on the clock, so that's up in the air. I also don't think they managed the clock very well at the end of the game. You're saving these timeouts. Maybe you could have used them earlier. It ultimately didn't pay off for you. And again, I think the score was way closer than the game really would have told you. That story just doesn't dictate to me a 6-point loss for the Lions, and that's what ended up here. So overall, again, the coaching grade for me is a D. What grades would you give the Lions offense, the defense, special teams, and coaching for this Week 15 matchup against the Bills? Let me know down in the comments below. That's a tough loss for the Lions. Again, they're fully in control of their destiny moving forward at 12-2, but defensively, all the injuries stacking up. Now with David Montgomery out, can the Lions move this thing forward towards a Super Bowl dream? Can they get a couple guys back over the next several weeks? They're going to go now into Chicago in Week 16, looking to get back, into their winning ways. Now, this is a winnable football game, even with these injuries, but they're going to have to start prepping towards this playoff run. They're really, I think, going to need the number 1 seed. They need the week off. They need the extra bye week. They need anything to get back some players or give guys some time to rest, to come in with as much firepower as they can. I really don't have the answers. I don't know if Aaron Glenn and the coaching staff have the answers, especially defensively. They're really going to have to shift things around. They already were shifting things around. More guys coming up off practice squads. They may be looking in other areas. They may be shifting guys in their secondary. Brian Branch, Amik Robertson, those guys can be moved around. You have Ife Melifonwu, Enos Rakestraw on IR looking to come back. So how do you work them into the mix? They desperately need Alex Anzalone back into this mix somehow, and I know he's probably farther down the road, but I know they are looking to get him back, and I think that would make such a big difference overall. So that's huge. So I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. I think the Lions need to hang on to that. I think the current coaching staff will do so. Again, I'll say it, the Lions coaching staff, the players won't sit back and feel bad for themselves. They'll do what's necessary to be ready for their next game. They'll take it 1 week at a time, and we have to have faith in that. So again, I hope that they're able to shift some things around to make some changes defensively to be more competitive than what they showed against the Bills in Week 15. I appreciate you guys coming along for another video. Make sure to hit that like button if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gas Sports. I'd also love it if you consider subscribing. We're almost at 3,000 now, thanks to you guys. And if you hit the notify bell, you won't miss any future videos. There is a membership option available. We did the live game play-by-play reaction this week. My ladder list, a ton of other fun stuff, but there's always free content here for you all the time. Make sure to take care of yourself and your mental health. That's more important than anything else. I want to make sure you come back and see me on future videos. Thank you guys so much for your time. Go Lions.